Matthew.
Sure. Thanks, Farhan. Earlier today, a plane called an Ethiopian military plane went down in Mogadishu in flames. Some people died on it, but most people are saying that it was a plane full of weapons. So I wanted to know, given the sanctions regime, whether, to your knowledge, the Somalia Eritrea monitoring group is gone. And I also wanted to ask a question that I'd asked all the way back to June about Mr. David Bax of UNMAS in Somalia. One of the questions that was asked was, who were the private security personnel or armed guards with whom he went to the compound on the day of the attack? And it seems like if they're UN contractors and they're getting paid by the UN, it shouldn't be hard to answer it, but it's yet to be answered. I'm wondering if you either have that answer or can provide it today.
On the latter, as I believe Martin had mentioned a few days ago, the UN Office for Project Services, which is the contracting group regarding Mr. Bax, is looking into this particular case, and we wouldn't have any further comment while it looks into it.
Is he looking into? Are they looking into just the sexual harassment allegations or the private security? I didn't know whether those were an allegation.
We have no comment while they look into the matter.
Could I? Okay, I still want to hear about this plane, but I went back and looked. I think it was July 5th in this room when I asked about Mr. Bax. He made a big point of saying, we always answer your questions, we always send answers. And I'm wondering, should I still be awaiting, which I've yet to receive from your office, an answer on the questions that are asked about Mr. Bax? Or is this indirect answering the answer that's going to be given?
No, as I just made clear, while they're looking into this, we wouldn't have any further comment.
But why did Kieran Dwyer send an answer to others if that's the policy? If the policy is that there will be no answer, so I'm still wondering why.
Matthew, I don't speak for Kieran. Whatever information we have, we provide it once we have it.
And what about the plane?
As we did, by the way, with David Bax.
What about the plane?
Regarding the plane, it's up to the monitoring committee to determine whether it's going to look into this or not. That's not something for us to comment on until they make that decision. Yes, Matthew.
Sure. One Haiti question. I have some Great Lakes questions. But on Haiti, as you may have seen, former DPKO chief Jean-Marie Guénaud has said via Twitter, the UN needs to become clean about the cholera crisis in Haiti. And I'm wondering, given his stature in both having worked here and now as a professor, and somehow the reports don't seem to be leaving their mark. Is there some response from the UN to its former head of peacekeeping saying that the peacekeeping mission in Haiti should come clean, or what's the response to that?
We wouldn't have any comment about what Mr. Guénaud said in his private capacity, in his personal capacity. And regarding Haiti, of course, our focus there remains now on trying to combat the spread of cholera, and we continue to do that. Yes. Yes.
Great, thanks a lot. Great Lakes, and then if possible, one Sri Lanka question. I wanted to ask, it's been announced in the DRC that there's going to be a, quote, national dialogue led by President Kabila. It's going to involve the president of neighboring Republic of Congo and various groups. And I'm wondering, since there is a peacekeeping mission and there's also the Mary Robinson Good Office's role, does the UN have any role in this, quote, national dialogue in the DRC, and how does it relate to the process the Secretary General has been speaking so much about?
Regarding a national dialogue, no. The role that we've had diplomatically is the one, as you know, that Mary Robinson is playing in the Great Lakes region as a whole, and she's in touch with all the various governments, including the government of the DRC. But the national dialogue is, I believe, a separate process. Okay,
and I wanted to ask, Médecins Sans Frontières has said that it's been under attack and is ceasing medical service in the Pinga area in the Kivus, and I'm wondering, what's the plan? Can the UN confirm clashes or violence or threats there? Which groups are behind it, and what the MONUSCO would be doing about that?
Well, we don't confirm anything for Médecins Sans Frontières. Of course, it's for them to do that.
Right. What's about the Pinga area? Is it safe or it's not safe? And if it's not safe, why not?
You're well aware of the problems of insecurity throughout the Kivus, and we've talked at length about that. The basis for their decision, that would be for them to comment on. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. But I know this may be for MSF to say, but an MSF worker has been killed near Juba, and I'm wondering, since there's unmissed mission there, I guess my question to you is really, does it change the UN? It's the same thing on the DRC. Does it change the UN peacekeeping mission's, desire to protect civilians and humanitarian workers? The fact that this MSF worker has been killed.
Our desire to protect humanitarian workers remains the same and remains strong in wherever we operate. But we wouldn't have a comment on this. That's again an issue for MSF to talk about.
And on Sri Lanka, could I see this? The live fire incident that I asked about before, now the death toll has risen, and the UNP party has asked for an international investigation of the Army's use of live fire against protesters of polluted water. Is there any response from the UN to that?
Not at this stage. If that changes, we'll let you know. If that's it, have a good weekend, everyone.